The EDC Exchange is really an opportunity for the members of the UPCEA and eDesign collaborative community to come together and just have a place where we can talk. It's an opportunity for us to share our thoughts, our ideas, our challenges, and to help one another work through those. And so the EDC Exchange, it's really going to be a very informally structured meeting room or meeting place for us to gather to have those conversations. But today we have two very special guests, and they are going to guide us through a bit more of a structured meeting in the fact that they have a lot of great information to share with us about UPCEA and the eDesign Collaborative and what types of the opportunities there are for joining this community. So with that, I'm going to hand things over to our guest speakers, Ray Schroeder and Camille Funk.
Very good.
Okay. Go ahead, Ray.
Okay, yeah, sure. Well, welcome all. And as a longer-term member of UPCEA, I must say we're all very excited to have you join us as we move forward in educational design and delivery in the coming decades. So this is really an exciting time, as you all know, not only for the association, but generally in higher education. There are huge sea changes taking place in that, and they pivot. These pivot around the design and delivery modes, the pedagogies, the ways in which we serve a very a greatly changing workforce in this country and beyond. And so some years ago, actually 2 years ago, we began thinking about how could we best meld our association along with another group or opportunity to connect with the movers and shakers. You know, those are really the instructional designers who are designing the future of the delivery of primarily higher ed is our interest, but K-12 as well. And so we're really so excited because we look at the eCollaborative as the future, as moving toward the future and guiding all those deans and provosts and associate provosts who long have been associated with this 101-year-old association to help guide us in moving toward the future.
Awesome. And I'm so grateful to be working with Ray. Ray is a leader in the field, and if you don't already know him, please Google his name and get to know him. He is going to be working with us. In fact, Ray, do you want to say a little bit about your history and where you know, what you've done for the field?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Let me, let's see. I'm going to do a little cut and paste here, see if I can get to my, here, I'm just getting the chat up here. If I can I put this in? Let's see if this works to everyone. And does that send out a URL? Good. Okay. So by way of background, yes, I started teaching in 1971. Some of you probably were not in college by then. And I have taught now all these continuous years and followed the development of higher education, began at the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and now these 46 years later still, and with the University of Illinois. My background is really in developing our online program, which we launched in 1997 and has grown hugely on the small campus where I currently reside, Springfield. We have about 5,000 students. More than 30% are at a distance and online. And so we're heavily engaged in developing and designing classes for online, working with faculty members, much as I think most all of us do. And as we do so, we find that we impact both the face-to-face as well as the online programs. And so, you know, this has been a very exciting trip for me through the years, from analog to digital, and as we've now expanded even further into the virtual reality and augmented reality. So there's so much that we're doing right now. It's just a very exciting time for all of us in this field.
Great, thanks, Ray. So my name's Camille Funk, and I am so excited that we're kicking this off. I think what we really, well, to give some background, actually, I originally started working with instructional design at Brigham Young University. I most recently was at George Washington University in DC, which is where I kind of started collaborating with UPCEA. And right now, over the holidays, I've trudged across the country over to USC, so I'm wearing my USC crimson today. Anyway, so my background has been in initially teaching, but I got involved in instructional design several years back. And what I found when I was at GW is that there was really no niche association. There's a lot of larger associations like EDUCAUSE and OLC and UPCEA out there, but there was no real niche for the instructional design teams at higher ed universities to really get together and rub shoulders, collaborate, and talk. And so in effort, after a budget cut at GW to try to create something like that for my team, we just started putting the word out there, and so many people were interested. And Megan, who introduced us, is from Penn State, and she is on our leadership team. We have a leadership team of about 9 to 10 people from all the different universities across the nation, and we invite many more of you to contribute to us. But we're a group that wants to collaborate. We want to learn from each other. We want to be able to see what each other's doing. And we're not just instructional designers. We're multimedia developers too. I think we've expanded this role, as many of our teams have started to see, is that those multimedia developers, videographers, animators, producers play a huge role in education and in how to develop the delivery of content. And so we want to expand this group, and partnering with UPCEA was a natural fit because of, just like Ray said, is they've got the administrative side, and anybody who's been in a directorship or in meetings on campus can tell you that those leadership positions need to be informed with what the instructional designers are doing. And that communication between the two can really facilitate growth and development for course development across the country. So we're excited to partner with UPCEA. This is one of many things we have in the docket of things to come and roll out. Those of you who have been a part of us for the last several months as we've been transitioning have probably already have access to CORE, which is our discussion-based or discussion forum. So anytime you have a question offline or and you just want to pose it to the group, it's been a great place for us to start conversations. But we, like Megan said, we want this to be kind of an open forum. So for instance, me moving to USC, I have so many questions. The next EDC chat, I'm going to be coming with, hey, I want to know this, this, and this. And so we can rub shoulders and kind of see what each other's doing and get some feedback from each other. Because I just sat in a meeting yesterday where they were asking me, well, what is everybody at different universities doing for paying instructor stipends? Mm-hmm. And so those conversations can be moved to an area like this where we can actually learn from one another. So I'm so excited to be a part of this and to see this hopefully really grow and be useful to all of you. So if you have any suggestions, feel free to let us know so we can implement those.
So Camille, you raised a great point about the CORE discussion forum that's available currently for members. What other types of opportunities do you have coming down the pipeline with the eDesign Collaborative?
Great question. So this initially started with a conference. We tried to organize a conference. We did it at GW, and the 40 of us or 50 of us that started off, we were kind of the pioneers. But this year, because we're with UPCEA, we're going to be partnering with their online Summit for Online Learning. That's going to be held in San Diego at the end of June. So it's going to be hopefully a big national event for us. We've even got approval to be able to create kind of our own special track. So instructional designers can come and attend sessions from both and be able to rub shoulders with administrators, but also be in conferences or in sessions that specifically relate to them. And the topics we're going to be working on are going to be coming from you as the community. We're also excited to hopefully roll into that event. We would love to have what we're calling like a UPCEA or UPCEA EDC Film Festival for all of our multimedia folks to be able to showcase some of the stuff we're doing. So that's one thing. What we're also starting is we're launching research and research. We have, UPCEA has a great resource with Jim Fong in doing market research. And so we are launching kind of a benchmark study about instructional design teams in general. And we want to gather all these sorts of different position descriptions, and understand what people are hiring for, what people are actually doing in their field, and how we can actually serve. Because eventually what we'd like to do is create some professional development opportunities, badging, certifications, and all sorts of fun things for us to be able to grow and really enhance. Because a lot of us are accidental instructional designers. I am, I know some of you are, and so this opportunity for us to really make a mark and really start carving out our specialties is what we want to focus on. So that's just what's coming down. Did I forget anything? All right, Megan, you can let me know.
So Ray, I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit more about the opportunities that there might be for instructional designers as they think about potentially joining this new community. I know you had mentioned that UPCEA sees instructional designers as, being influencers in how the future of education is going to be working. But why would somebody want to be interested in joining the UPCEA component of this? So
Sure.
what does that partnership look like for you? Camille, all those great things that we're talking about getting up and running, that's fantastic, but I'm curious as to why this partnership?
For an individual, it's career advancement. It's the opportunity. For example, we publish a journal online called Unbound, and we encourage articles to be written by instructional designers and developers in that journal. So that's a chance to begin a publication record. I know in my unit, all of our designers also teach in an adjunct capacity, and they do presentations at regional conferences. Well, here's a chance to do national conferences. I push out a blog specifically for UPCEA. It's really a kind of a guided, a curated reading list. 3 items a day, 365 or 366 days this year, by the way. And all of these are articles that are relevant to higher education. Most all have a component related to instructional design. Many of our members just grab those articles, and without saying it came from the blog, and I encourage you to do the same, don't say where you got it, just take that article and push it up the chain. Push it up to your dean, your director, send it to the president, the chancellor, the provost, and say, you know what, this is what USC is doing with blended learning or with adaptive learning, and why aren't we? We can do this. Why aren't we partnering with with a provider that can give us access to adaptive, or maybe access to the Watson computer to just a little time, so that we can implement artificial intelligence in a couple of our classes. So there's so many things you can do, but one of the resources, of course, because I'm so closely associated with it, is that I scan all these journals, articles, trends, websites from MIT, from Stanford, all across the country, and get this out to you in the morning. Those on the West Coast, it's earlier, but it goes out 9 a.m., so just go across the country, 9 a.m. Eastern. And you can get these updates, and you can just, you can either go to the blog, but I think many of us kind of forget. So you can get it via email, or take the RSS, push it out to you, and you can grab it and just take a quick look at the headlines, brief summary, that's the one I want, and use, you'll find 1 or 2 a week, guarantee you. You'll find 1 or 2 articles a week that'll be useful to you and your career, and that really gives you visibility up the chain, adds value to the institution and to your unit. So on a personal level, this really is kind of a professional development opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to move forward, or to create partnerships with other institutions. And as Camille mentioned, the summit, what a great place to meet with people from 300 other colleges and universities around the country and say, you know what, we'd really like to do an application to Gates. We'd really like to do, a small grant, a mini grant. Let's do it together. because, you're so much more likely to get a grant if you're not just one institution, but if you're two different types or spread across the country, maybe a small group of institutions. So all of these open doors to you. And, now I'm associate provost, but I certainly was an instructor to begin with. And, I'm well familiar with academia and the value that we place on those kinds of collaborations and partnerships, and certainly on informing. If you can make your president look good by giving them an article right before she or he gives his speech, it's a very good thing.
Excellent. I think career advancement is definitely something that I think a lot of individuals in the instructional design field feel somewhat limited. And I think that you've hit on some really fantastic points in terms of the opportunities that there are for us to maybe engage with individuals who are in leadership positions, and that might be able to help us learn and grow in our own personal journeys as designers as we pursue those leadership opportunities ourselves. So this is fantastic. And one thing that came to mind is the fact that it's not just about the passive opportunities that there are, like going to find resources on UPCEA's website, but there are very active ways of engaging within this community, such as the conferences and also even the core discussion forum. It's not specifically to individuals. We have our own section within the core discussion forum that is specific to the eDesign Collaborative, but anyone within the UPCEA community can go in and join in that discussion. So I think it's fantastic that we have the opportunity to reach out and make those connections with people in leadership positions.
Megan, let me mention that, we've had core for several years, and we ended up, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, we would average about one posting a week. And then on came the instructional designers and the eDesign Collaborative, and then there were 3, and then there were 5, and now there are 8, and it has stimulated the general postings as well as the ones specific to design. It's really what a vital group of members you are.
Well, thank you. I think that that's something that is a true asset that our community brings.
Absolutely.
We're very dedicated to learning and to improving. I think a lot of instructional designers go into this field because they are passionate about the teaching and learning process. And so the ability to connect and share thoughts and ideas with other people is just, for us, a fantastic opportunity. So here at Penn State, it's such a huge community. And so I sort of think of it very similarly to what this opportunity with UPCEA and core. There's many different units at Penn State, and you can work in one for several years, but as soon as you start talking to individuals in those other units, you learn about how they're doing things differently, and they have the same challenges, but they handle it in completely different ways. And just the ability to have that opportunity to connect with other people is tremendously helpful. So thank you, Ray, and thank you, Camille, for pulling this together for all of us. And so with that, we have just a few minutes left on our first EDC Exchange chat session here. So I'll ask you, do you have any final thoughts that you want to share with our potential community members as well as our currently existing community members? Maybe one last little incentive as to, if you're not already a member, why you should consider joining, or something along those lines. Just, any other little tidbit that you'd like to share with us.
I think I'd like to add that, as we've said, it's so exciting to add designers, but we're all across the country. We have small institutions, we have large institutions. Penn State, one of the largest, of course. Illinois, one of the largest on each of our campuses, frankly. And the UC system and the Cal State system, to have that opportunity is rare. That's not been there. We've not had the opportunity for instructional designers, from one part of the country to communicate across the country and to collaborate, and all kinds of doors, all kinds of career opportunities result.
I agree. There's so much to be said. My heart's just kind of brimming. But I just would encourage each of you, as you consider the opportunity to get involved, is just to start small and grow. I think, when I first approached most associations, I was like, oh, how do I get involved in a big association like this? The good thing is, we're right now we're about 450, but we hope to be able to grow, and you'll be part of that. The nice thing is if your institution is already an UPCEA member, you're added for free. It's a free add-on to that already existing membership. So please take advantage of that if it's already there for you. If you're not your institution's not an UPCEA member, we can work with you on that and make sure that we meet your needs to be able to get added as well. This group has done so much for me personally. When I moved out to California, I actually got contacted by UCLA, UC Irvine, all these different people. And to have that community, even with rival institutions, has been such a benefit to be able to work together and say, hey, what are you guys doing over there? And not to take from you, but to collaborate with you and to see how we can improve learning as a whole and take it to that next level. Because to be honest, we're the ones behind the scene. The instructional design teams are the ones kind of the unsung heroes, but we are navigating the future of education. We all know that it's headed in this direction. So as we go about that, let's work together. Let's collaborate. Let's kind of reach across the borders. And so we invite you to be able to do that and join us. And I look forward to getting to know all of you. I think that this is the perfect way to be able to have that opportunity. So thanks, Megan.
Thank you. And I just want to give a quick shout out to Tara Lifland, who is coming to us from George Washington. Thanks for chiming in today, Tara. And
I just have one little thing to add, a quick comment that, we talked a lot about cross-institutional collaboration, and the conference is one great way, to meet people from other institutions and start that process. But what was amazing to me about the eDesign Collaborative is that it doesn't stop there. That's just like a great place to build momentum, but really throughout the entire year, these conversations really grow from there. And to have things like the exchange and core, the conversation really is ongoing.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Well, that wraps us up for our inaugural EDC exchange. Thanks so much for watching the video. We hope to see you in in more of our future meetings and in the core discussion forum and conferences. And we just look forward to meeting you and engaging with you. So thank you for tuning in.